A mum has divided opinion after admitting that she refuses to let her 19-year-old daughter share a bed at home with her 23-year-old boyfriend because she finds it uncomfortable. So while some have defended her and said that they would do exactly the same, others think that she's being unreasonable and should treat her daughter like an adult. One of us here feels she hasn't gone far enough.
Well, what can I say? My daughter's only 15, 16 next month. And hell no! The bottom line is, she's young. I have a son. People might hate me for this, but it's hard when, you know, you have a... He's 23, soon to be 24, and he has had long-term girlfriends. And it's hard because it's your boy, but I've got a daughter, and I do believe it's wrong, some of you may say, but there's a thing we need to teach them about having that respect, because women, you know, these are our young ladies who grow up, and unlike men, they're not patted on the back if they start having sex early. And the reality is, I want my daughter to respect herself. I say to her, look at how your brother's friends, they don't speak badly of women, but one of his friends, I'll mention no names, and that was on TV, he's got one this week and one that week.
Yeah.
And I say, if you remember that, I think it's best as a young lady to keep yourself a bit precious for a while. Just keep yourself a bit, you know, just be respectful. But the whole thing about having relations under a roof, I can understand there are a lot of people uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be... when she's 105, maybe we can talk about it. But, you know, that's just me. But I know there's so many different perspectives on this, and I think people have to do what makes them feel comfortable.
And I think probably the best person to ask about this really is Stacey, because
you're trying to say it.
No, because you're the youngest person here, and so we'll obviously have different opinions based on obviously how we were brought up and all sorts of different reasons. But you're the youngest one here.
My parents obviously wouldn't let me have boys stay over.
Yeah.
I got pregnant at 17, so I don't know how, if it works.
The immaculate conception.
Yeah, exactly, Gloria. It just happened. Listen, I think that I always respected my parents not wanting me to have boys in the same... for me to sleep in the same room as boys while I was in their house. No matter how old I got, I always respected that. Whether it makes a difference, I think if you're going to be if you're sexually active, then you're sexually active. And I don't think that not being able to do it at home is going to stop you if you are in a relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
But I don't begrudge anyone for saying not under my roof, thanks. You can go... if you'd rather your daughter go out or son go out and do it elsewhere, then yeah.
Do you think it's an age thing then? Because the girl in this is 19, but obviously, Gabrielle, you're saying your daughter's 15.
She's
16.
16.
But I know of some parents who allow their 15, 16-year-old daughters to let their boyfriend sleep in the same room and stay overnight in their daughter's
I wouldn't have allowed
that.
And I think that Stacey actually hit a very important point, because a lot of the time, you know, it's for the parent's head. And so it's like in our house when the kids were growing up, particularly when Karen, you know, I think you're a bit more protective, and you shouldn't be protective, but for a girl you are.
Yeah.
And it does depend on the age.
Yes.
But when Karen was, you know, 18, 19, of course, if she had a steady boyfriend, I would not have allowed it if it had been a different boy every month or something like that.
Yeah.
But I certainly would have allowed them to stay in the house, but I would have put them in a different room. Now, I knew in my head that, you know, the floorboards would creak in the middle of the night, but it was for my standards.
Yeah.
I would have said, I'm sorry, you can't sleep together under my roof. Now, I know they were doing it at university, and you know all of that as a parent.
Yeah.
But I just think you do it for your own head, really.
And I understand that. And even when I was that age, I understood it. And, you know, my parents' house, I think... I have to tread quite carefully around this one. You know, my dad was still is, extremely strict. And, you know, he didn't even like the idea of sex before marriage, never mind anything else. So he made it very, very clear that there was no way that any boy was ever going to sleep in the same room as his daughter until she was at least 104. She had the same sort of thought process as you. But I can remember when I was in my 20s. Now, at that point, I had been with my then boyfriend for, oh, gosh, I don't know, 8 years or something like that. We'd been travelling around the world together. We'd gone backpacking and this sort of thing. And we went to stay with them, and they put us in the spare room. It had 2 single beds in it. So it's fine. So the next morning we woke up, and my dad's, you know, he's like this, he's drinking his coffee, and he went... So I suppose you found the bell then? What bell? He put a bell under one of the single beds. Literally tied it to the spring things underneath the bed. And we said to... I mean, I was outraged. I said to him, what were you going to do if the bell started ringing? He hadn't actually thought that far ahead. So do you know what I did the next night? I jumped up and down on that single bed.
Good for you.
I know. But, you know, he thought it was funny, but actually he didn't really think it through because as a parent, what... No. You know, like you say, you know the floorboards may be creaking, but what if it's the bed springs that are creaking? What do you do?
I can see your father at the pub, though. They'll go, from here on in, now you told the story, open it, they go, shall I ring your bell for you?
It's all, I suppose, comes from a place of protection, don't it, with our parents. I always think, although it might not be the way I would do it, I know that my parents were always just really protective because they loved me and cared about me. And you were speaking earlier about your daughter, Gabrielle.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because you are one of those, I'm like me.
Yes.
Nobody's getting near.
Yeah, been told by the teachers, maybe it's time to let her get on a bus and go on the Good luck with that one. And no, not yet. When she drives, you know, when she's 17 next year, she can take the lessons and, you know...
Will you let her know?
In the car. Really? You know, it's one of those, it's scary, it's hard letting go. I remember when my son was 17 and I got him a car after he passed his test. I don't think I slept for a long time because when they're 17 and they're boys, they think, right, I've got a car, I can go and do whatever I want. You're like, did he make it? Cool. To this point, I'm always like, you OK?
I'm at that point now. It's scary.
It is scary. And you know something? It doesn't get easier because I think the older they become, the more they want to do and the more they want to tug, and I'll be there. I will be there. So, yeah.
But I hear you. You know, my dad, when I think about it now, you know, he was... What was he going to work in the morning? But he would be waiting outside of places to pick us up and he would drop us, pick us up. He made sure that everywhere we went, he took us and then brought us home again. To be fair, it never crossed my mind to sneakily run out the back and go somewhere else because I just was... I mean,
You're just so lucky, though. My parents would be, like, as protective as they were. They were like, sod this, we've got work, get on the bus. Get on 3 buses and a train and we'll see you there at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No, you're so lucky. I love that.
The important thing is, as you rightly say, you do it from a point of protection.
Yes, and a point of love as well. There we are.